Well, good morning, everyone, or maybe good afternoon, depending where you're joining us from, and welcome you back to the Launchpad for the third launch of today. Today, we are watching the launch of Ariane 6, launching from ELA-4 at the French Guiana at the Guiana Space Center. We are now counting down just about 44 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting till launch. If it's your first time here, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad Network. Here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. We're glad to have you joining us live here today. As always, as we get started, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad, and I'll do my very best on answering as many of those questions as I can, either on commentary or in the chat over the next 44 minutes as we count down to liftoff of Ariane 6 with a 4-booster configuration from ELA-4 at the Guiana Space Center. Let's listen in to Arianespace Mission Control.
Welcome to Road to Space. We're coming to you live from the European spaceport in French Guiana for a very special mission. It's the first launch for the Amazon LEO constellation on board Europe's Ariane 6 rocket. Amazon LEO's mission to deliver reliable internet beyond the reach of existing networks, and Arianespace's mission to deliver the next 32 Amazon LEO satellites to space. And to do that, we're using the most powerful version of Europe's rocket. For the first time ever, we're launching the Ariane 6 version with 4 boosters. Over in mission control, about 16 kilometers from the pad, the team's inside what we call the fishbowl there, that protective glass, the operational teams focusing hard as we get closer to launch. Now, we're actually in our commentary box looking down over that fishbowl. We've got a great view from up here. I am joined by 2 fantastic commentators from Arianespace. That's the company who organizes the launches. Samuel Rogez is our rocket expert for today. Great to have you with us, Samuel.
Hi, Katie. Great to be here to commentate this launch live together with you.
And in the commentary box next to us, we have got Aaron Lewis, also from Arianespace. He's going to tell us about the mission and Arianespace's partnership with Amazon LEO. Thanks for being with us, Aaron.
It's great to be here, and the water is fine in the fishbowl.
I'm glad to hear it. Samuel, so yeah, it's a really exciting launch today, isn't it?
Yes, indeed, because it's the first one we see this version with 4 boosters, so it's the most powerful version of Ariane 6. It should be a really impressive launch. We are all really looking forward to see that liftoff, so really a lot of excitement here.
And looking good for launch?
So far, so good. Yeah, everything is going normally, everything's green, so all good.
That's what we like to see, green boards. Aaron, we have a number of launch parties going on around the world.
Yeah, our friends at Amazon are having a signal event in Paris, and this fine broadcast is being live streamed into over 200 offices in 20 different companies for Amazon across the world.
So a big shout out to everybody watching all over the world. We have an exciting journey ahead. Aaron, Samuel and I will be with you all the way. We're going to be finding out about operations across the range. Of course, we'll be seeing a lot of this launch pad before launch, the dedicated Ariane 6 launch zone, which includes the pad and also the launcher assembly and integration buildings.
We'll also go into the launch control center, so we'll see also the teams in charge in this launch control center closer to the pad, and they are responsible for managing all the operations on the rocket and the pad before liftoff. Here they are.
These are the Launch Control Center teams. We have another control center. It's called the CVI. We call it in French, or the Quick Look Telemetry Team. There they are. They will be taking on monitoring the rocket after launch. But back here in Mission Control, let's go into the fishbowl now to find out how the launch is progressing, how things are progressing for today's launch. Over to David Cavalloles. David is the CEO of Arianespace. David, thanks ever so much for coming to chat with us. How are things looking for today's launch?
Hi, Katie. Well, Ariane 6 is now standing on its launch pad, and for the very first time, it's equipped with 4 boosters. That's why we call it Ariane 64. This is Europe's heaviest launcher. So at the moment, all the parameters are green. The systems are working nominally. The weather is absolutely perfect. So we are ready for liftoff in now around 40 minutes.
Good to hear. Tell us a little bit more about our passengers, David, our Amazon LEO satellites.
Absolutely. Today is a very special mission to us because this is the first one for our client Amazon, the first of a series of 18 launches to come. This is an absolutely strategic partnership to us. And as you mentioned, today on board, Ariane 6 is carrying 32 satellites. This is the first time we carry as many satellites in Ariane 6. And with this launch and the upcoming ones will contribute to deploy the Amazon LEO constellation. It will be an absolutely unique constellation, bringing high-speed internet with a reliable connection all around the world.
Yeah, super important. But why is this launch so important? I mean, this will be the 6th launch for Ariane 6.
Yeah, you know, we are engaged in a very fast ramp-up with Ariane 6, and with this launch, we are again accelerating and will continue doing so. The other very important aspect is that last year we performed 4 launches for institutional customers. Today, this is our very first Ariane 6 launch for a commercial customer for Amazon. And I know that today, thousands of Amazon employees all around the globe are watching this event, and it means a lot to us. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David.
You
can head back now to take up your position on the flight desk. And best wishes to you and all the teams for the launch. So we were hearing there that Ariane 6 comes in 2 versions, the 62 and 64 versions, depending on the number of boosters. The rocket's made of several stages, sections, Samuel. We call them stages.
Yes, indeed. So first you can see here on your screen the rocket itself, complete rocket. Its height is 62 meters tall, so it's quite tall. And the total mass liftoff will be 870 tons, so massive. Part of this rocket is the main stage. As you'll see, it's made of 2 tanks mainly, one of hydrogen, one of oxygen. And of course, these are used to propel the Vulcan engine, which is below this main stage, attached to its engine thrust frame. Engine thrust frame, then hydrogen tank, oxygen tank, and then on top of it, a skirt, which is attaching this main stage to what's coming on top. And of course, it's the upper stage. This is the one key element as well of Ariane 6 with the Vinci engine and 2 tanks, hydrogen and oxygen again. The stars of today are, of course, the 4 boosters that you can see here that are coming around the main stage attached to it. They are 22 meter tall, so it's quite tall. They are the equivalent of an 8-story building and diameter of 3.4 meter. You can see inside this booster, they are filled with solid propellant loaded with 142 tons of propellant each booster. Of course, the main part of Ariane 6 today is our passengers, the Amazon LEO satellites. They are on top of it, integrated onto a mast, which we call dispenser, and covered by the long fairing. So this is the first time we fly this long fairing, 20 meter tall, so well covering our passengers for today on top of our rocket.
Indeed, the first time we fly the long fairing is a flight of premieres today, or premieres, as you might say, Aaron. It's the first time as well that Ariane 6 is launching satellites for Amazon LEO.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of firsts. And Amazon LEO is Amazon's low Earth orbit satellite network. Another first is that we are launching a constellation for the first time. And another thing to note is that this will be the first new heavy lift variant to address Amazon LEO satellites. But Amazon, it's worth pointing out that is calling this flight LE-01, which stands for LEO Europe #1. And that mission name is a nice nod to Arianespace, which is the only European launch provider in Amazon's lineup of rockets.
Indeed, and they are scheduled to lift off in around 35 minutes' time. What's going to happen after that?
Yes, indeed. So we'll have the liftoff towards heading northeast direction, as you can see here, the ground path on the map. It will be powered by the five engines, and amongst them we find the 4 boosters. They will be separated after 2 minutes and 25 seconds, as you see, and then 50 seconds later we'll have the fairing separation once the launcher has left the atmosphere. After 7 minutes and 37 seconds, then the main stage will be shut down and will be separated. A few seconds later, we'll have the upper stage Vinci engine ignition. This will be the first of 3 boosts. It will burn for 11 minutes. And then we'll have switched off the engine. We'll have a coasting phase for 52 minutes going over Europe and over India. And then in visibility of Awaroa station, we'll perform a second boost of the upper stage. Then we'll be ready to start the separation sequence for our passengers, separating satellite 3 by 3, then 2 by 2, and finally, last one. This will last approximately the upper stage above Pacific Ocean. This is really key to avoid leaving any debris of the rocket orbiting the Earth.
Which is, of course, super important. Now, as Amazon LEO's first launch with their European partners, this is actually really an important moment, isn't it, Aaron?
Well, it's more than just satellites reaching orbit. It's about European innovation and industrial capability. Amazon's the biggest commercial customer for us at Arianespace. We've got 18 launches planned over the next few years. And that record-breaking contract isn't just big for Arianespace. It's had a huge impact throughout the European supply chain, creating demand for everything from rocket booster production in Italy to dispenser systems designed and built in Sweden. And all told, these contracts support thousands of suppliers and highly skilled jobs across the continent and have added more than $2.8 billion to Europe's GDP. So from the launch pad in French Guiana to factories across Europe, this mission connects everybody. It's a win for European industry, European workers, and for the customers and communities around the world who really, really need this connectivity.
It really is. I mean, I think it's fair to say that it's a truly historic launch, so it's a big day for everybody. And of course, the internet, I mean, it's just so important to us all, isn't it, these days?
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. And constellations like Amazon Leo are quite literally transformational. I never tire of seeing rockets firing into space. Now, the name Amazon Leo is a nod, of course, to the constellation's location in space, LEO, low Earth orbit. Right, Aaron?
No, it wasn't always called that when we first started having our conversations with Amazon. Its internal code name was Project Kuiper, which I thought was pretty awesome, but Amazon Leo is even better.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think they're both fantastic names, actually. And there's so much that goes into building something on the scale of Amazon Leo, from the satellites themselves to the antennas that you use to connect to the network, to all the ground infrastructure, the networking that bring it together, and the journey to today's launch. Well, it's been quite a ride, to be honest. There's here on Amazon Leo, let's meet some of the people now who've been helping to build the system.
One thing that we're really fortunate to have is you here, Lisa Scalpone, today to talk about the system, the program. You're the director for worldwide consumer at Amazon Leo, so you're heavily involved. I've got a few questions for you that might help better inform a lot of our watchers about the Amazon Leo constellation and what its capabilities are.
Yeah, Aaron, thank you so much for having me here. We are so thrilled to be in beautiful French Guiana. This is our first heavy lift launch and the first of 18. So the Ariane team will have to get very used to seeing the Amazon team down here.
I think we're going to be very happy to get used to all of that in due time. Well, let's dive into the questions that I've got for you here today. What's Amazon Leo, and why are you guys doing this? Just a basic question for you.
Yeah, so it's classic Amazon. We started with a customer problem, which is billions lack connectivity to the internet. And we saw that we had the infrastructure, the people, the resources to solve that problem through a low Earth orbit constellation. So this is our satellite constellation. Our first generation will be over 3,000 satellites at 590 to 630 kilometers in altitude.
Wow, that's incredible. That's very admirable. Leo for high throughput it's a really new thing. Yeah. What's it mean for customers and users?
So LEO is different than traditional satellite networks that were at geostationary orbit. So LEO being so low, it takes away the latency. It's very low latency. In other words, there's a very small amount of delay. This means real-time communications like video conferencing work great. It feels like terrestrial broadband. You can do other real-time applications. So it's really the key to unlocking a fantastic internet experience.
So let's get down to the experience. How does Amazon make it different? Well, let me back up. What's different about Amazon? I mean, what sets you guys apart?
Well, first of all, Amazon is a name that millions of consumers, households, businesses already know, already trust, and understand that we are hyper-focused on delivering on the customer and delivering a fantastic customer experience, great value for your money, and innovation, expertise. And just to point out one of my favorite parts of it, first of all, we're Amazon, we're going to be focused on value and making sure customers love the value they're getting, the performance. And second of all, the innovation is built in throughout the entire network, the entire system. You saw a little bit on the video before this. My personal favorite is our customer terminals, the innovations there.
Well, we have Exhibit A and B, and then also Exhibit C down on the floor of the fishbowl of these customer terminals. Why don't you walk us through how people will use them, what they're used for, where you'll find them?
All right. So this is kind of our workhorse terminal. This one is, you can see how small it is, but this is the home broadband terminal. It goes up to 400, supports up to 400 megabit speeds. Easy to install. You can be on a tripod, can be mounted on your house easily. And this will give you terrestrial grade broadband, and for businesses or for households.
Wow, that's amazing. And you want to talk about the larger one that we have down on the floor there?
Yeah, so I don't know if folks can see that one. Maybe they can get a shot of it. It's actually not that much bigger, but it is enterprise grade, full duplex. Goes up to a gigabit in download speeds, 400 megabit upload speeds. So it's fantastic for applications like backhaul, supporting larger enterprises, whole communities. We think it's just fantastic performance. It's going to delight our customers.
Yeah, it seems like a real game changer. Well, we have about 20 seconds if you want to just wrap it up and talk about what you think the global impact is going to be for Amazon Leo's introduction.
We absolutely hope to make global impact. Providing connectivity throughout the world has the possibilities to change communities, businesses, and people's lives. So it's a hard challenge, but we're up for it.
You guys seem like you are. Thank you so much for being here, Lisa.
Thanks, Aaron. It's great to be on the show.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Lisa, for telling us, explaining, talking us through those terminals. That was really interesting. And, I agree with you. The impact of connectivity now on people's lives is really literally transformational. So just a quick reminder that we are 20 and a half minutes to the launch of our Amazon Leo satellites. Lots of people have burning questions about space and rocket science, which can be quite a confusing issue sometimes. And I think that Arianne may well be joined now by a very well-known French influencer, Jean-Baptiste Nicolet, from the I Collection. I'm hoping that the guys have been able to play musical chairs in Arianne's commentary box.
No, I'm still in the same place. Jean-Baptiste has replaced Lisa, but really, really honored to introduce Jean-Baptiste of the iCollection. He is a tech influencer with a massive following in this social media, and he's here to learn a little bit more about the space industry. Typically, you're involved in tech, but today you're here to learn about space. So the questions aren't for you, they're for me, right?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Well, we can get right down to business. If you want to dive in and throw some of your toughest questions or your craziest questions at me, I'm here to take them.
Great. First of all, thank you for having me today. It's my pleasure to be here.
You're absolutely welcome. Good
So
to have
let's
you
start with a quick fire round. I'm going to throw some space words at you. Explain each one in one sentence. You are talking to a 10 years old. You are ready?
Fantastic. Yes, and I have an 11-year-old son, so this is perfect.
Great. So, what is a one rocket myth you want to kill off once and for all?
The one rocket myth that I want to kill. Okay, so as the launch vehicle is ignited for liftoff, you're going to see water pouring into the flame trench. You're going to see these big jets of water spraying towards the nozzle where the fire is coming out of. Now, there's a misunderstanding often that the water's there to cool the jets, to calm the flame. That's not what that's for. The water is there to prevent bad vibrations from destroying the launch vehicle and the payloads that are there beneath the fairing. So, shockingly, that water prevents shock. It kind of blankets the vibrations coming up. And when a launch vehicle is ignited, it's like 1,000 Metallica concerts going off at once. You got to stop that noise from shaking the rocket too violently. So that's what the water's there for. Myth killed, I hope.
You know what? I didn't know that, so thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
Second one, what's the telemetry?
Telemetry. Okay, I see you have a smartwatch on. That's like the smartwatch on the launch vehicle. It tells us where it is, where it's going, how fast it's going, and how the systems on the launch vehicle are performing. It provides all sorts of data to us. So its telemetry is the smartwatch on that launch vehicle.
Okay, and what is the cryogenic?
Cryogenic. Cold. It's very cold. So the fuels that we load onto the launch vehicle, you have liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. We've reduced them to temperatures lower than 200 degrees below 0 Celsius. And those super chilled propellants allows for massive, massive thrust coming out when it's ignited, when it comes out of the nozzle. So cryogenically cooled propellants are very, very, very cold. So in a word, cryogenic is super cold.
Okay, do we have the time for one last question maybe?
One or two, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so maybe last question. What do you think about a rocket launch that will surprise people the most?
The one thing that would surprise the most about a rocket launch. Okay, you look at it, you see a lot of hardware, you see metal, you see the gantry. Most of a rocket launch, 90% of a rocket is fuel. So the cryogenically cooled liquids, the liquid oxygen and the liquid hydrogen, and then the solid boosters. That is most of the rocket. The rest of it, the metal pieces, those are mostly, below 8 or 9% of the rocket's mass. It's incredible.
Okay.
So, anyhow, it's it's those liquids and those propellants to some degree that pressurize the launch vehicle. It's like a can of soda when it's full. You know how rigid it is. So, those liquids, they solidify that rocket. So the skin of the rocket's only a couple of millimeters thick, but with that tension, it's very, very rigid and can withstand the pressures of flying into space. So I hope that is an interesting fact point for all the people that you're influencing through your influencer influence.
Yeah, everything is clear now. So thank you so much, Aaron.
Yes, good to see you, Jean-Baptiste. We hope to have you back. Yes,
yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, guys. And I'm glad to know that we've got 1,000 Metallica concerts of sound waiting on the pad to lift off and be dampened by the water. So let's just come back now to our launch, 15 minutes there, our rocket on the pad, standing tall, waiting to lift off. Let's hear from Panos Panay, who's the Senior Vice President of Devices and Services at Amazon, who unfortunately couldn't make it for the launch today. Samuel, we mentioned earlier, David, we heard him mention earlier how Ariane 6 has been designed very much to respond to a sharp ramp up in production.
Yes, indeed. It has actually completed 5 flights in less than 18 months. So this is really the fastest production ramp-up ever achieved when we talk about heavy launchers. And of course, the team at Ariane Group and all the industrial partners are full speed to accelerate the production even more and double the pace in 2026 as compared to 2025.
Pretty busy times at the spaceport. Why don't you talk us through the preparations for today's launch?
Yeah, of course. So all started with the arrival of the special ship called Canopy at the port in French Guiana here on 2nd of January, carrying the sections of Ariane 6 from mainland Europe. They were then transported by road to the spaceport, unpacked, and then we proceed to the horizontal assembly of the main and upper stage in the launcher assembly building, as you can see. Once assembled, we've proceeded with the transfer of the core stage to the launch zone. It's 800 meters away with an automated guidance vehicle on the 22nd of January. Then this central core was lifted up and placed below the mobile gantry, which is this gigantic building protecting the launcher while being prepared. The boosters joined the central core. We integrated them around the main stage, 3 boosters the same day and the 4th the day after. You can see the team down there and how tall the boosters and Ariane 6 are compared to the team. For what concerned our passengers, Amazon LEO satellite arrived in French Guiana on 18th and 20th of November last year. They were prepared and integrated onto their dispenser. Then the complete stack was then encapsulated below the Ariane 6 fairing. This forms what we call and what we see the upper composite, which was then placed on the transportation trailer. Last Monday it was transferred to the launch pad. And then it was lifted and integrated on top of the launcher, on top of the upper stage, as you can see on these nice pictures. And over the last days, we had, of course, safety operations, arming of the pyro systems, and today we started the final countdown with the mobile gantry removal, in particular, 9 hours ago.
Got our final weather check coming up at T-10. That's 10 minutes to launch. What are the conditions that we need to keep an eye on?
So we are checking mainly 2 parameters, 2 main parameters. First one is the wind. We are checking both the intensity and the direction of it between mainly 10 and 20 kilometers. It's mainly for safety reasons in case of launcher malfunction. And the second one is the lightning risks on ground mainly. It's safe because we have these giant masts that protects the launcher. But during ascent, we don't want the lightning to damage the avionic equipments, for instance, of the launcher. Here you can see the weather station where the team are performing the prediction and the weather forecasts. For this, they are using special balloons carrying instruments that send back information on atmospheric temperature, pressure, or humidity, for instance.
And the weather status panel is green, so that's good news. We are go for launch in the weather department. And the European spaceport is on the Amazonian coast of South America. In French Guiana, it can be pretty hot and humid around these parts, can't it, Aaron? What's the weather like today?
30 degrees Celsius, exactly what you'd expect on the Amazonian coast of French Guiana, which means, yes, Amazon is literally launching satellites from the Amazon. Gotta love that coincidence.
Nice. And look, we've got clear skies, but even 10 minutes ago it was actually raining, but the clouds have parted, so fingers crossed for a beautiful launch. You can see the water tower on the right-hand side of the screen there. You were telling us earlier, Aaron, about how the water floods the pad. Well, that's where it comes from. Back in mission control, everyone's got their eyes on those status panels that we can see there on the left-hand side. We like those to be green, Samuel.
That's true. It's a bit the traffic light of the launch control center here. They are gathering the health, the readiness of the three main systems across the base that needs to be ready for having the launch happening. So first is the launcher and its ground systems. It's called Ensemble de Lancement and Lanceur. Then second group is the range, which gathers telemetry, radars, the weather, of course, and safety, both on ground and in flight. And last one, of course, is our passengers, Amazon LEO satellite.
Which are quite nicely, neatly tucked up inside the top of our rocket in first class with their seatbelts on, Aaron. What do they look like in there?
This is exactly why we're here. These satellites are the heart of the mission that you can see in the illustration. You can see their solar arrays are all neatly folded as they're there, latching on to the payload dispenser. It'll actually in flight happen in reverse order than that. But these satellites include a ton of advanced technology on board. They include the key systems and subsystems that allow them to operate safely and reliably in space. And what's remarkable is that all the technology that you see on these satellites and the technology that you don't see, they're designed and built in-house by the Amazon LEO team, as you witnessed in that film earlier. Remarkable stuff here. And the satellites are going to remain attached to the dispenser until they're all sequentially dispersed and released into space. And the timing of this has got to be precise and the delivery accurate. The dispenser's role is critical for the important job it carries out. And then at the bottom you can see the new launch vehicle adapter, that V-shaped end of the dispenser bearing a special burden connecting the dispenser to the launch vehicle.
And seeing those 32 satellites enclosed under the fairing like that, stacked on the vehicle, it really brings home the scale of the mission, doesn't it? Gosh. So here we are, 6 minutes and 24 seconds now to launch, looking across, I believe, from the Vega pad there, which is one of the other rockets that launches from the spaceport, and a nice shot there of what we call the Carno, which is the exhaust pipes, if you like.
Yeah, it helps.
The concrete structure.
Indeed, quite a giant one, which helps pushing away the exhaust gases away to avoid them from being accumulated down the pad.
You'll see that at launch. There's one on each side. And you'll see those fumes and gases coming out of those. You can only see 2 boosters there, but we have actually got 4 boosters on board today.
We confirm.
We can confirm, and we've got 2 yellow things at the top. Those are the cryogenic arms clamping onto the top of the rocket, feeding. There's a close-up of them there, feeding the very cold propellants into the upper stage, which Aaron was telling us about earlier. Right, back here in Mission Control, the Range Operations Manager is now getting ready to announce the beginning of the next big moment, which will be the synchronized sequence. It's Jean-Frédéric Alassa today.
À tous de DDO, attention pour la séquence finale lanceur. Top, H0-5 minutes.
We have the beginning now of the synchronized sequence. It's been initiated, or the automatic sequence as we also call it. It's the last 5 minutes now in the final countdown, and our rocket's becoming progressively autonomous. There's an awful lot of very, very precise operations happening, aren't there?
Yeah, it's quite a dense step here. We have many operations being run, very precisely timed, combining checks, pressurization of the tanks, activation of different systems and valves. And in fact, the control of the operations is gradually being handed over from the ground to the launcher onboard computer. It will be at the end the onboard computer of Ariane 6, which will send the main engine ignition command and the booster ignition commands. And today, it's worth to mention, we have a 29 minutes launch window.
That's good to know. That gives us time to reschedule the launch, if necessary, within that 29 minutes. Now, the launch pad is just one of many facilities here at the base. We call the whole thing the range. That includes the tracking stations along the flight path. And I guess, Aaron, in a way, you could sort of compare it to an airport.
Yeah, that is an apt analogy, comparing it to an airport or air traffic control. Mission control, like an air traffic controller, they can give the final authority for takeoff or for grounding. So, yeah, absolutely. They maintain tight control over the authorizations given to the launch vehicle to take off when the conditions are absolutely right.
And we have another control room here at the base, launch control. It's much closer to the pad. I guess you could think of it as the cockpit of the plane.
Yes, indeed, quite a busy cockpit, as you can see, given the size of the teams there. And they are inside a concrete bunker 5 kilometers away from the launch pad. These are the closest team to the launch pad. And they are the operational teams sending various commands to turn the launcher avionics on, to fill the propellant tanks, for instance, to pressurize the tanks, and to run all the planned tests step by step to confirm that the launcher is getting ready for launch. And we have behind them, behind a glass window, another team, the engineering team, who are monitoring all the operation closely. Here you can see them, making sure that all is happening as expected. They are checking many parameters, such as temperatures, pressures, electrical currents, both, of course, on the launcher rocket side, but also on the ground.
Lots of pilots in there, in our cockpit. 2 minutes and 7 seconds now to launch. Laser focus, Aaron, as we get close.
Yes, we're seeing a lot of muted enthusiasm at this point. The teams are going to save their enthusiasm for the end of the mission. For now, everyone is focused on their job at hand, monitoring the health of these satellites and the status of the launch vehicle.
Quick word about the launch sequence, Samuel. We actually switched the engine on the main stage about 7 seconds before the boosters. Why is that?
So we have a two-step ignition sequence. We'll start first with the ignition of the main engine, so the Vulcain engine. We'll check during 7 seconds that it's working properly before actually sending the ignition order to the 4 boosters. Of course, once this is done, we will lift off quite quickly. In half a second, there will be the liftoff, and this is because nothing is holding us back.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute. Top, H0-1 minute.
We are 1 minute to launch. Our very best wishes to all the teams and to the Amazon LEO satellites as they get ready to start their journey on board Ariane 64. Good luck, everyone.
Go Ariane 6 and Amazon LEO.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage ESR et décollage. Propulsion nominale, le pilotage est calme. La trajectoire est nominale. Pilotage calme. La trajectoire est calme, les paramètres à bord sont nominaux.
The next 32 satellites.
Propulsion nominale.
The next 32 satellites for
Pilotage
Amazon
calme.
LEO have started their journey on board the first Ariane 6 with 4 boosters. Wow, and that was a
La
beautiful
trajectoire est
launch.
nominale, les
What a
paramètres à bord sont nominaux.
Magnificent liftoff. We can hear Ariane 6 passing by and feel the walls shaking. Wow.
It's taken just around a minute and a half for the sound to get to us.
How powerful that was.
Looking here
Pilotage
at
calme.
the coast of the Amazon rainforest, the coast of French Guiana moving away from us. Those are the onboard cameras. I'm guessing that's the river Kourou, that line on the land that we can see. You can see the clouds moving away behind us. We are burning 5 engines. We ignited them all on the ground, but the boosters are doing all the work for us right now, aren't they?
Most of the work, yeah, indeed, as you said. So remember that the weight of the launcher was 870 tons on ground, and so 90% of the thrust is delivered by the
Propulsion nominale.
boosters. They'll burn 142 tons in 2 minutes 25 seconds. So we are actually burning 4 tons of propellant each second now.
Séparation des USR.
And we just had confirmation of the boosters separation.
We're seeing the images from the live cameras a few seconds later, and that's perfectly normal. That's for technical reasons. But look, that's how it looks. And they're falling away in perfect formation.
Yeah, and this is to be precisely set and analyzed and checked because, of course, you need the boosters to be jettisoned quite quickly, but not well in a mastered way to avoid any collision, any risk. Wow, nice shot from the onboard cameras.
Our planet Earth. And the next big moment on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the events coming up, will be the jettisoning of the fairing. That's the nose cone, if you like, of the rocket,
Séparation des
which is
coiffes.
protecting our satellites. And we've had confirmation that that's now been separated. We'll see the images, hopefully, on the camera.
So it was long fairing today, first flight for these 2 halves, 20 meters. Oh, you can see the fairing being jettisoned here.
And you can see how it flexes as it falls. That's all part of the plan.
Yes, indeed, and that's a beautiful movement, but it's due to the fact that it's designed to be as light as possible, but of course, when separated, the loads are pushing it, and it's being deformed due to its stiffness. This creates this movement, what we call a breathing mode. Nice breathing mode here. All designed to sustain that, of course.
Our altitude, 161 kilometers down at the bottom of the screen there. Our distance from the pad and our speed, vitesse is the French word for speed. At the moment, we're traveling at nearly 3
Propulsion nominale.
kilometers per second, everybody, per second. And the range operations manager is telling us that everything is going well and everything is going according to
Paramètres à
plan.
bord sont nominaux.
Now, I'm rather hoping that Aaron is back with us because we sent him out to go and watch the launch with his own eyes on the terraces. Aaron, what was it like?
Oh, what a magnificent errand. It was like watching a second sunrise. I've never seen flames coming off an Ariane rocket like that. And it was a delight to watch the mighty Ariane 6 rise majestically from its throne before plunging into the vault of the heavens. It was astonishing.
I'm so glad you were able to go and see it, Aaron. It's very powerful, this beast, Ariane 64. So we're burning the main stage. Now you can just about see the sort of main stage at the bottom of the screen there of the rocket. It's, as Aaron was telling us earlier, it's a great big tank of fuel.
Yes, indeed, it's quite tall. You can't barely, well, you can guess, but from the onboard camera it seems tall, but it's still 32-meter high, diameter 5.4 meter, and we are currently burning the 154 tons of liquid oxygen and hydrogen, as Aaron was discussing earlier. And why are we using these two? This is because the chemistry of these two elements makes that it's one of the most, let's say, fuel-efficient combination that exists to convert that into thrust and hence velocity given to our passengers, the Amazon LEO satellites.
He's telling us that the propulsion is nominal, so everything's going well.
Yeah.
And we separated the boosters using cutting-edge technology called optopyro.
Yes, indeed. These are key technology based on laser pulses sent through optical fibers, and they are used to trigger key pyrotechnic events such as the booster separation, which we've just seen. And next step, and next they will be used for separating the main stage.
So we've just heard there from the range operations manager that we've picked up the signal at the tracking station SNA, he said, which is actually a naval tracking station. So as Aaron explained to us earlier, we're tracking the rocket using telemetry. There are ground stations dotted along our flight path, and the rocket's basically is talking to us. It's sending signals as it flies over. The naval tracking station, Aaron, it's in a boat, isn't it?
Yeah, the ground station is on the water. Kind of funny to say that, but yes, it's in the Atlantic, in an area that has a telemetry hole, so we send a boat to that area to track the rocket during its overflight. It has a 5-meter S-band antenna, and it's mounted on a stabilized platform, so if it's wavy, it can have a clear view of the rocket.
Coming up now to the next main event, which will be the extinction of the main engine.
Extinction Vulcain et fin de mission sauvegarde.
And we have confirmation there that the
Indeed, yeah.
Séparation
engine is switched
LLPM.
off.
It was just then confirmed that the main stage has been separated as well.
Allumage du moteur Vinci.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
No, and I was to say that the Vinci engine has been fired up, and you can see from the onboard camera the separation of the main stage. Wow, it looks amazing. This again is a very precise step of the flight, and a very key step where you need this stage to be separated gently but quickly enough to ensure the Vinci can fire up.
It looks easy, but actually what's happening up there is unbelievably carefully planned. It's the result of
Tous les paramètres à bord sont nominaux.
very clever brains. And there he's telling us that everything is going normally. So the upper stage is now in charge. We can't actually see it on these shots, but Aaron, I kind of like to think of it as an orbital bus driver, because its job is to deliver our passengers to lots of different bus stops in space.
Again, another handy analogy. Yes, it's the bus driver. Everyone's not getting off at the same stop, but they're all headed in that direction.
Here you can see the Vinci nozzle on the right in orangish color.
The nozzle being the nozzle of the engine.
Yeah.
And the curvature of our planet there in the background, and the very thin blue line, of course, is the atmosphere, our gas mask. So the people who are monitoring all this right now are in what we call the CVI, the quick look telemetry team. The tracking stations are sending the data, relaying it to them. They actually are on a little mountain on the just outside the spaceport. It's called the Montagne des Pères, the Mountain of the Fathers.
And they are collecting real-time data, which is sent by Ariane 6 back, of course, through the different stations we are talking. And this data can include the status of the engine, like the turbopump speed, for instance, the tank pressures, or the engine thrust, but also the trajectory, meaning where we are, our velocity, for instance. And they are comparing these live data to what was predicted, what was the plan. And this allows to continuously analyze the behavior and confirm that everything is as planned. Then they are sending a summary of this to the range operation manager, who is then sharing with everybody the recap of the situation.
Indeed, sharing that on their internal comms loop. And the different parts of the Ariane 6 rocket are built in Europe, but they're actually brought here on a boat, which is called Canopé. Ariane, it's really more than just a cargo ship, isn't it? It's quite revolutionary because it has sails.
Yeah, revolutionary. Everything old is new again. We're back to sails for transporting heavy items across the ocean. But the hybrid cargo vessel Canopé brought the Ariane 6 rocket components from France to French Guiana for the LE-01 launch campaign. The ship carried the Ariane 6's core stage, the upper stage, and other critical hardware across the Atlantic to Europe's spaceport in Kourou. Canopé uses a hybrid propulsion system with 4 articulated rigid wing sails that can reduce fuel use and emissions by up to 35%. And the transatlantic voyage, which was kicked off December 5 in Bordeaux, was a major milestone in the Amazon LEO and Arianespace partnership.
That sounds fun. Lots of good wines in Bordeaux.
Could be, yes.
And the ship can also, Canopé can also transport satellites.
Yes, indeed. Remember, we have transported Copernicus Sentinel-2C quite a long time ago, but it was on board Canopé. It was on board Canopé, and we have also requests from other customers to do so, to transport their satellite potentially from mainland Europe to French Guiana. Makes sense to transport them alongside Ariane 6 parts. Yeah.
So we just heard there from the range operations manager that we've now picked up the signal at the tracking station in Santa Maria. Our flight path takes us northeast from French Guiana. We're flying over Europe, heading towards Europe now. We'll be coming back down over India and then the west of Australia. Then we'll be coming back up again in northeast and heading back to South America. And Santa Maria is now locking onto the rocket's signal. It's a Portuguese island in the Azores, which is an archipelago in the Atlantic. And Aaron, it sounds absolutely beautiful. I had a look at some pictures actually the other day, and I'd quite like to go on holiday.
Yeah, it's very lovely, very warm and sunny in Santa Maria. To give a little geographical lesson, is the southernmost island of the Azores, known for its gentle hills and terraced vineyards and the only white sandy beaches in the archipelago. This tracking station is known as the Montes das Flores, the Hill of Flowers, and it's about 5 kilometers from the historic town of Vila do Porto, some 1,500 kilometers from Lisbon, the capital city of Portugal. And it was first used to track the launch of the European Space Agency's automated transfer vehicle, the Jules Verne, in 2008, the launch I was here for. And Jules Verne was a cargo resupply mission to the International Space Station, bringing critical elements to the station for the astronauts aboard.
I bet they would have been absolutely delighted when they received those things inside the Jules Verne cargo ship. Now, we can see there the teams we were talking about earlier at the Galileo tracking station, the quick look telemetry teams here at the spaceport, analysing the information coming in from the rocket. And on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you can see there the upper stage. The white disk is actually the upper stage of the rocket, what's left of the rocket. To the right of it, we can see our satellites, our 32 Amazon LEO satellites attached to the dispenser. And then to the left of the upper stage, you can see there the blue flame is actually the engine, because the upper stage has a very powerful engine. It's called Vinci. pretty sophisticated piece of kit.
Pretty complex and good piece of engineering here. It's actually a big innovation for Ariane 6 because it gives mission key mission flexibility. Let's say it like this. It's designed to switch on and off, and this up to 4 times. So it allows us to take different spacecraft to a super wide range of orbits. Low Earth orbit, like for today's mission, but also we can target higher orbits, like medium Earth orbit, as we did for Galileo mission last year, or even higher altitude to geostationary orbits at 36,000 kilometers, but also we can use it for exploration or scientific missions. So see a super wide range of targets. And it's the first of Ariane rocket being equipped with this cryogenic engine that can switch on and off. And for this mission, as we said, we'll have 3 burns. Two of these burns will be used to separate precisely the Amazon LEO satellites on their orbit. And the last one will be for deorbiting the stage. So the range operation manager saying is that remains 3 minutes during the first boost of Vinci upper stage.
We're 208 kilometers above Earth, and so we've gone out of the range of the naval tracking station. Yep, 205 kilometers high, and our distance from the pad just over 4,000 kilometers. And our speed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 7 kilometers per second. Now that's what I call fast.
Yeah, super fast. This corresponds to more than 25,000 kilometers an hour. Pretty fast.
Yeah, I think we can safely say that's pretty fast. If you look at the top right of the screen now, our trajectory, the green line is the predicted trajectory, the white cross is the actual position of our rocket, our launcher. We've actually been climbing, and it looks like we've kind of gone over the top of the hill and coming back down the other side.
Yeah, kind of. We are still picking up speed from the Vinci upper stage because the boost is not over, but when we'll switch off the engine, indeed we'll have high velocity, but we'll be down the roller coaster if you want. So we'll use that speed to climb the hill, to go up the roller coaster, and in other words, we'll translate velocity, meaning kinetic energy, into altitude, meaning potential energy.
Now, there's a real need for reliable connectivity. It doesn't matter where you are on Earth, you really want to be connected these days. He's telling us that everything's going normally. And low Earth orbit networks like Amazon LEO can deliver that.
Yeah.
Who will Amazon LEO help to connect, Aaron?
Well, you don't have to go that far to find poor internet. So sometimes it's just down the road. Take small businesses in rural France trying to compete in the digital economy but struggling with unreliable connections, or fishing communities along Europe's northern coasts where reliable weather data and market prices can mean the difference between a successful catch that day or coming home empty-handed. There's mountain rescue teams in the Alps who need real-time coordination during emergencies but have a hard time connecting. Small bed and breakfasts in remote Scotland, or Tunbridge Wells that can't offer guests the Wi-Fi they expect. Farmers in Spain who want to use precision agriculture tools but can't get the bandwidth to support them. In short, billions of people everywhere who live and work in places where geography and economics have made traditional infrastructure totally unfeasible.
Indeed. And Amazon LEO is built to address all of these use cases and more from a single household.
We had just confirmation of the switch off of the Vinci upper stage engine.
We have indeed.
Which is good.
And that's really important. It's a very good sign. This is the first major step in reaching the desired orbit. So we are now coasting without the engine. We're in what we call the ballistic phase. That means traveling without propulsion?
Yes, indeed. We are on what we call an intermediate orbit. It's kind of an oval shape orbit, an ellipse. And the closest point of it to the Earth, to the ground, is 150 kilometers high, and the furthest point is 465 kilometers. So we'll use that velocity to climb the orbit to go to the furthest point, and this will take us around 52 minutes to climb that stair, if you want.
Orbite correcte, la propulsion est nominale.
So the range operation manager is confirmed that the orbit we have reached at that step is fully okay. It was the targeted one, which is a super good news.
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station Osagel.
And we have acquisition of signal at the tracking station in Osagel, which is in France, Aaron?
Yes, Issus Osagel. It's in the Haute-Garonne, south of Toulouse. The Pink City, which is the home of much of the French aerospace industry, a really significant place.
You can just see it there on the map. It's in southwest France, so we're now heading out over Europe. We're going to take a break while we climb the hill, and we're going to take a break for about 47 minutes now, so we're going to come back to you at about 5:54 GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. That's 2:54 here in Kourou and 12:54 in Washington. So don't go away. See you back here then.
See you there.
Le vol se poursuit nominalement.
Hello again, welcome back to our live broadcast, Road to Space. We are transporting 32 Amazon LEO satellites on board what's left of the European rocket Ariane 64. We are coming to you live from the commentary box here in Mission Control. I'm with Samuel Rogers from Arianespace, our rocket expert.
Great to be here still, yeah.
And next to us is Aaron Lewis, also from Arianespace. Good that you guys are still here with me. Aaron, during the break we picked up the signal at the tracking station in New Zealand.
Yes, another of the tracking stations on the route in a very lovely place, in a garden spot, Awarua. So hello to Awarua as we overfly that region. And also it was built... It was built for the Jules Verne mission in 2008.
Which, of course, was a cargo supply mission to the International Space Station.
That's right.
So the astronauts, I think, probably would have been very happy to have received their cargo coming through to them. We're coming up now to the next phase.
Yeah, should be the second ignition of the Vinci upper stage.
Allumage du moteur Vinci.
Which was just confirmed by the range operation manager. A good step here.
That's good news, but it's a short burn, isn't it, Samuel?
Yeah, it's very short. It's 18 seconds burn. It's just sufficient to, as we said earlier, we were climbing the hill. Here, this short burn is sufficient to stay up there.
Extinction du Vinci.
And it's just confirmed that the engine was fired. Switched off. I was looking for the word. Thank you, Katie. So it means we have reached the right orbit.
Good. So that's what we needed to do. So we've basically taken our oval orbit and we've turned it into a circle. Our elliptical orbit is now circularized. So that's good news. So we're going to take another break. We're going to take a break for 10 minutes and come back to you at 3:07 local time here in Kourou. That is 1:07 East Coast, and that's actually 7:07 GMT. See you back here in 10 minutes.
Later.
Propulsion nominale de l'APU. Le pilotage est calme, les paramètres à bord sont nominaux. Propulsion nominale, le pilotage est calme. Début de la manœuvre d'orientation au profit de la première séparation Amazon Léo. Propulsion nominale de l'APU.
Hello again, welcome back to Road to Space. We are 1 hour and 22 minutes into the journey of 32 Amazon LEO satellites on their way to their final destinations in space, or their drop-off points in space. On board what's left of the Ariane 6-4 rocket, our orbital bus driver, Samuel Rogers and Aaron Lewis are still with us, I'm pleased to say. We lifted off at 1:45 local time from Ariane 6's dedicated pad here at the Guiana Space Center. We are on the coast of the Amazon rainforest. It's very beautiful. Aaron, you were out there watching the launch. What was it like?
It was extraordinary. The field of view was totally clear. You could see the separation, stage separation, the boosters, the fairing. It was extraordinary. And then the visceral piece of it, the noise. It was like, to quote Steppenwolf, heavy metal thunder. It rattled the building. You could feel it shake your bones. It was just an all-around experience.
Oh, you're so lucky to have seen it in real life. She's a beast.
Indeed.
Ariane 64, the 4 booster version. So, of course, you had all the kind of rumble from those extra boosters. Really exciting to see. So, we lifted off 1 hour and 24 minutes ago. Just remind everybody what happened, Samuel.
Yes, indeed. So we had first the liftoff towards northeast. Then we had the booster separation after 2 minutes and 25 seconds. This was indeed amazing phase. Lots of power there. Then we had the opening of the fairing, revealing our 32 passengers today to the environment of space. Then a bit less than 8 minutes into flight, we had the shutdown of the main stage Vulcan engine and the first ignition of the Vinci upper stage engine shortly after. The first of the upper stage boost lasted 11 minutes. Then we switched off the engine, and once we were over New Zealand, Wawa ground station, we had the second of the upper stage boosts. And now we are ready to start the satellite separation sequence. It will last approximately 25 minutes, and we'll be separating the satellites step by step. First 3 by 3 as shown here, and then 2 by 2, and finally the last one. And after that we'll have a new coasting phase to go over Australia, where we will do our third and final boost to slow us down, followed by stage passivation and re-entry above the Pacific Ocean.
So everything's going well, everything's going according to plan. We're looking here actually at CGI images, the animation there, which is fantastic because it allows us to see what it looks like up there in space. This is a simulation of what's been planned for the mission. And you can actually see, there's a good shot there of our 32 satellites attached to the dispenser, which is that sort of round structure in the center there. And just in the far end, you can see they're attached to what's left of the upper stage. And as I said, they got our children here on the school bus. Our bus is actually on its way now to a number of different bus stops to drop them off, as you said there, 3 by 3, then 2 by 2, and one final one. He's telling us that everything's going well and according to plan, which is what we like to hear. Aaron, as the VP of Media and Government Relations at Arianespace, you're working very closely with the Amazon LEO teams, aren't you? What's it been like working together?
Yeah, Arianespace US and Amazon LEO have had a great relationship going back 7 years almost, when Project Kuiper and then Amazon LEO first became official and public. We announced the launch contract together at the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs in 2022 to great fanfare. Our offices are in Washington, D.C. Amazon's offices are just across the river in Arlington. We love to pop by to visit them in person. And there's also another incentive there. They have a banana truck out front to help with any potassium deficiencies. You can go through there and grab a hand of bananas anytime you want. It's great. But we're now in touch constantly as we prepare to launch 17 more times, which is a lot of times.
Well, I'm glad that the Amazon LEO teams are keeping on top of their vitamin intake. Looking here at the CVI teams, they're receiving the information here at the telemetry teams at the Guiana Space Center. So what happened next?
Yeah, indeed, because then there was the next part, which was the design of this mission that we see today. They bring that launcher into reality and perform all the qualification effort that was required by all the novelties, all the premieres we had today with this new launcher version. This implied a large amount of work over years with many people involved, and to have it qualified and ready on the launch pad for today's launch.
Now that's what I call teamwork. I wonder how many cups of coffee everybody consumed during those years, or how many bananas were eaten. We're getting ready now for the next big moment, the beginning of the separation sequence, where we will start the process of delivering the satellites. The Ariane 6 upper stage is taking us now to the target orbit. It's reaching our target orbit shortly.
And we're also orienting what's remaining of the launcher to point the right direction to then start the separation command, because as you can guess, we need to have the right pointing into space, and then we can start the separation of the 3 first satellites.
No, you're absolutely right, and we're actually on our target orbit, so forgive me there.
No problem.
So Ariane 6 successfully reaching its target orbit, and now the dispenser is going into action to separate the satellites. And that's how it looks. Our first 3 Amazon LEO satellites moving gently away from the mothership. Aaron, talk us through the separation sequence.
Sure, Katie. So there are going to be 12 separations in total. They're delivered into space from the bottom of the dispenser, that black rod there, from the bottom up. So there are going to be 12, like I mentioned, of those separations. There'll be 9 separations of 3 satellites at a time. You just saw 3 drifting away from the payload dispenser. And then 2 separations of 2 satellites. So 2 groupings of 2 satellites in sequence will be dropped off at the same time. And then 1 lone satellite will hang on for a little while, and then will be separated and will drift off all by its lonesome to its final destination in orbit.
Nice shot back there of our planet and our flight path. How does separation work, Samuel?
So actually, we as we said earlier, each satellite is attached onto the mast, the dispenser, thanks to a number of attachment points. So upon command sent by the launcher, these interfaces are released, and there are a set of springs that are gently pushing away each satellite, ensuring that it's moving safely away from the launcher. Of course, you don't want it to be too fast, but fast enough to ensure safe separation. All of it is, of course, studied in depth by many engineers.
Coming up to the next separation, the next 3 satellites, the next 3 Amazon LEO satellites. There we go, that's how they look, moving away again.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon LEO.
And he's confirmed that the separation sequence is ongoing. Nice shot there of the dispenser. You can see underneath the satellites as they're starting to move away from the dispenser. We're starting to get a better shot of it, or a better look at it, if you like. So we are coasting without the engine. You can see the blue flame is no longer there on our animation. But we do actually still have a little bit of propulsion, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit, as you say. We have a kit, let's say. The name is the Auxiliary Propulsion Unit on board the upper stage. And it indeed continues delivering kind of a small, low thrust to the stage and, of course, to the dispenser.
Pilotage calme, la manœuvre d'orientation au profit de la séparation en cours.
And the satellites. And it's actually playing a critical role, which is to maintain the upstage trajectory and altitude. It also ensures that we have a rather quick separation sequence, all in all, while, of course, ensuring that the satellites do not collide immediately after separations.
Yeah, because, I mean, there must be a number of challenges in separating so many satellites.
Yeah, kind of.
Propulsion nominale de l'APU.
So the range operation manager just confirmed that the APU I was talking about is behaving as expected. And yes, as you mentioned, we need to master the way the satellite mass is moving away from the launcher. Then it changes the mass over time. So we need to take that into account, the impulse, the velocities of these satellites moving away, plus the evolution of mass, to ensure we are well mastering and predicting all of these phases, which are critical, as you can guess.
There go our next 3 satellites.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon LEO.
And the separation sequence is progressing as he's confirmed for our next 3 Amazon LEO satellites. It's great to have everybody watching our live broadcast during this really important separation phase. A bit of a shout out again, Aaron, to the folks at Amazon.
Yeah, we've got quite a crew here from Amazon Leo in the Amazon, and some of us were able to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday together, cheering on the hometown. But these folks are not alone. They're being also cheered on by a lot of their colleagues from across the world. We have, I think the number is 200, over 200 offices in the Amazon network. This very fine broadcast is being live streamed to them in 23 countries across the globe, from Seattle to London, from Milan to Mexico City. The sun does not set on the Amazon team, and right now they're all watching this moment together. You can also catch it on X at Amazon Leo. Search for Amazon Leo on LinkedIn and Facebook, or Instagram. Follow Amazon Leo at Amazon Leo _. You can visit leo.amazon.com to learn more about how Amazon Leo will serve households, businesses, large enterprises, and government customers. And there's also an interest list you can join to learn more about Amazon, how it will serve households, businesses, large enterprises, and government customers. If you want to be notified, join that interest list.
Yeah.
So a lot of information there, out there, available on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up to the next separation. There we have it.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
Confirmation that the separation sequence is progressing for Amazon Leo, our Amazon Leo satellites. We do have a number of firsts for this launch. We've had the first Ariane 6 with the 4 boosters, the first launch of the Amazon Leo satellites on Europe's launcher, the first long fairing. I'm sure there are others I've missed out.
Au profit de la prochaine séparation en cours, le pilotage est calme.
He's just told us that we're
We are
orientating the
continuing the orientation maneuver to follow on the separation sequence. Indeed. And yeah, you missed the first, but I'm sure it was on purpose for me to talk. So that's nice from you. It's the what we call the
Nominale de l'APU.
launch vehicle adapter, which is this kind of black cone below the dispenser, supporting all the dispenser. And for this, yeah, it was new, and because it has 2 walls to carry the dispenser plus the satellites, and it has also a white small cylinder, external cylinder, carrying supporting the 2 fairing halves. And for this very flight, this launch vehicle adapter was reinforced. It's made of composite material by Airbus in Spain. And today's version is the heavy lift version of it, a new one, so another premieres. And it includes reinforcement locally to be able to carry such a heavy satellite stack into space.
We've done a lap of the Earth, heading back towards the spaceport here. Quick look at our telemetry. I couldn't hear the range operations manager there, but I believe that we may well... here we have the next separation.
The 5th one.
Yep, separation number 5. And
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
And he's confirming that the separation sequence is ongoing, and we're flying back over, looking actually a very beautiful view there of South America, because Aaron, we've done a lap of the Earth, and we're coming back to the teams at Galileo at the European spaceport who are now tracking us.
Yes, like Magellan, we have circumnavigated the
Poursuite des
globe.
lanceurs par la station Galileo.
So yeah, we lifted off from Guiana Space Center, the northeastern coast of South America, headed northeast back towards Europe, then over India, then down the west of Australia, and then again northeast over the South Pacific towards South America, back over our heads again, over Ecuador, and then here in French Guiana, back home.
And the quick look telemetry team back here in Galileo, which is what we call the telemetry station here at the Guiana Space Center, are now tracking our launcher. I think, as we mentioned earlier, the tracking stations across the planet, they collect the data from the rocket. Propulsion is normal. As it flies over, it sends all that information to the tracking stations about its situation. As Aaron mentioned earlier, it's a bit like your smartwatch, keeping track of where you are and how you're getting on. And they send it back here to the tracking station at the CVI.
Exactly, to the team who is following what's happening on board and then communicating on the internal comms loop here to the range operation manager in particular. And then he's sharing with us the synthesis of it.
And they'll be focusing very hard right now because there are a lot of separations, 12 of them, to track. And here's the next one coming up.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
And the separation sequence is progressing for Amazon Leo. You can see the dispenser is starting to empty. It's half empty now. And we're heading towards the next tracking station, which will be, well, as you can see, we're flying over the ocean again, so we'll be heading towards back towards the naval tracking station, Aaron.
Yep, our friends from Kness in the boat there in that telemetry hole that we have in the mid-Atlantic. So the overflight will cross that boat.
He's telling us that everything's going well.
Yep.
On board, everything's going according to plan. Yeah, you were saying we've got lots of tracking stations on the job today, haven't we? Because we've got so many. Oh, we've just had the confirmation there that we've picked up the signal at the naval tracking station.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying because we've got so many satellites to deliver.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, we're heading over Galileo, SNA, Naval Tracking Station, Santa Maria in the Azores, Asaguel near Toulouse, Tidris, which is NASA's tracking satellites. So thank you to our friends at NASA for allowing us to use the tracking data relay satellite system. New Norcia in Australia and Awarua in New Zealand. And thanks finally to Kness for setting up all these wonderful stations and staffing them with teams who are helping us out in a tremendous way today.
About 15 seconds now to the next separation.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
He's just confirmed that the separation sequence for the Amazon Leo satellites is continuing. And you can really see why it's so key to plan this mission, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can see how the different spacecrafts are moving away from the mothership and why it's so key. So we are continuing the orientation maneuvers for continuing the separation sequence. And yeah, this is very key to ensure that we have a safe deployment plan, no risk of collision, and all of it has to be beautifully choreographed in a way.
Like a ballet. Top right of the screen, a really good picture there. You can see our roller coaster that we've been on to get here. We climbed really steeply into space. We went over the top of the hill, came back down again, picked up speed so that we could get right up and climb back up into space.
And now we are plateaued to 460-ish kilometers, 65 in average, to have all our Amazon Leo satellites being separated.
And a reminder of the speeds that we're traveling at the moment. You can see just under the
La propulsion
trajectory.
est nominale, le pilotage est calme.
7.34 kilometers per second, pretty fast. I think that's something like, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's around about 26,000 kilometers an hour.
Even close to 27,000, I think we can say. Kilometer an hour, of course.
Yeah. Nice view there of the upper stage, the white disc with its engine, the Vinci engine.
Fin d'acquisition de la télémesure par Galio.
He's just confirmed that we've gone out of the range of the Galio
Ensuite de la
tracking
séquence de
station
séparation Amazon Leo.
and the separation sequence for Amazon Leo is continuing and ongoing. And really our dispenser is getting very empty now. Looks like we've turned around, but I think we've actually just got a different view from the camera. These have been very busy times at the European Spaceport, haven't they,
Ensuite de la
Samuel?
manœuvre d'orientation au profit de la prochaine séparation, les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Everything's going normally. What are Arianespace's plans for the target launch rate for Ariane 6?
Yeah, the goal is to gradually increase the number of annual flights so that we can meet the need of our customers. So we have, and we already touched it earlier on, demonstrated a ramp-up that was really fast in 2025, but we will further accelerate this year, and we aim roughly to double the pace,
Propulsion nominale de l'APU.
to double the cadence as compared to 2025, so with a target of 7 to 8 launches. And then our target launch cadence is 9 to 10 launches per year, and we aim to achieve that by 2027.
And Aaron, this is the start of such an important partnership, isn't it, between Arianespace and Amazon Leo and Europe?
Well, to quote Casablanca, Katie, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. This is the first of 18 missions for Amazon Leo, and we're busy getting everything ready for them for subsequent missions. We're constantly upgrading the spaceport to accommodate this. We've given Amazon Leo their own dedicated building to prepare their
Acquisition de la
satellites.
télémesure par Santa Maria.
And we're super happy to have them here anytime in French Guiana, and we will provide any sporting teams broadcasts from back home to entertain their technical crews whenever they need it.
Back in the footprint, if you like, of the Santa Maria tracking station, which is now monitoring this next separation number 9.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
Santa Maria, of course, in the Azores, that very beautiful island with white sandy beaches. Aaron, every time I come to the spaceport on launch day, I see military vehicles and equipment, which I guess is part of the very
Poursuite de la
tight
manœuvre
security
d'orientation au profit de la prochaine séparation, le pilotage est calme.
here at the base.
Yeah, absolutely. Security is very intense around the launch facility as we near the launch date. You have the French Foreign Legion here, the 3rd Regiment. You have the French
Propulsion nominale
Army,
de l'APU.
the French Navy, and the French National Police, the Gendarmerie here, all manning checkpoints, performing patrols. The Legion, they perform sweeps of the jungle. They have naval frogmen plunging into swamps. They clear the coastal areas of any boats in the launch window. So it's a very, very intense exercise, and job number 1 is making sure that there are no risks to any of our launch activities here.
So we've got 5 school kids left on the bus. Am I right? We've got our next one, two
Pilotage
more
calme de l'APU.
separations.
Propulsion nominale.
2 more separations of 2 satellites, and then 1 final separation with 1 satellite. You were talking about the security here, but it's also a very beautiful place, French Guiana, to to work. It's Amazon rainforest. We can see some fabulous flora and fauna, so it's a real privilege to be here. Here we go. This is the next separation of the two satellites.
Poursuite de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
The next two Amazon LEO satellites moving away gently from the mothership, confirmed there by the range operations manager that the separation sequence is progressing. And this, of course, we said it earlier, it's the first time we've launched the most powerful version of Ariane 6, the 64 version with the 4 boosters. It's a pretty important day, isn't it?
Yes, it is completely, and maybe it's worth stressing the fact that teams have worked tirelessly on this.
La manœuvre d'orientation au profit de la prochaine séparation. Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Saying everything's fine. On this 4 booster upgrade, this is key to meet our customers' expectation. Of course, the launcher benefits from the legacy of previous generation of the Ariane family, but we are constantly improving, refining our knowledge of the Ariane 6 behavior in orbit, and this is necessary to even further improve its performance flight after flight.
Are there any other upgrades?
Yeah, talking about the boosters, there is an
Propulsion nominale, tous les paramètres à bord sont nominaux.
There is an upgraded booster version which is developed together with the European Space Agency. This new booster is called P160C, and it's 1 meter longer than the current one, and the propellant load will be increased to 156 tons. So this is the next step to expand the range of Ariane 6 by further increasing the launcher performance to typically to low Earth orbit by more than 2 tons. So this is really key to offer significant performance gain for all orbits, because not only low Earth orbit, but geostationary, scientific or exploration missions will benefit from that.
There's our next 2
Poursuite de la
satellites.
séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
The next 2 Amazon LEO satellites moving away there. Confirmed again by the range operations manager that the sequence of
Propulsion nominale de
separation
l'APU.
sequence is progressing, and the APU that Samuel was telling us about earlier is propelling us normally. It's doing its job perfectly normally. You might be wondering what happens to the satellites now once they're released into space. Well, it's actually the Amazon LEO flight control teams back in the US, Aaron, who are now taking charge of their new satellites, their new babies.
Yeah, and they're based in Redmond, Washington. They're in charge of flying the satellites and managing the spacecraft operations there. Off the bus now, so they're on their own. But right now in Redmond, they're taking over the mission, establishing contact with their new additions to the Amazon LEO fleet. And they'll be conducting initial health checks before raising the Amazon LEO satellites to their final orbit.
Au profit de la prochaine séparation est en cours et les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
And a word about that orbit, they'll climb just under 200 kilometers to 630 kilometers above Earth. And once they've gone through the commissioning phase, they'll be able to start doing their job of providing high-speed internet.
Indeed, and what an important job that is. Looking here at, are we looking at our final satellite, our final Amazon LEO satellite, all on its own there on the end of the dispenser? We're waiting for its moment to be ejected into space, delivered into space, to get off at its
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station Osagel.
orbital bus stop. And we're picking up the signal now. The teams at Osagel in southwest France locking on to the signal which the upper stage is sending back to Earth. That vital signal containing all that vital information about what's happening on board. And there it goes, our final satellite.
What a moment.
Fin de la séquence de séparation Amazon Leo.
And he has confirmed that that is the end of the separation sequence for Amazon Leo. Looking here at the operational teams in the fishbowl, here at the Guiana Space Center, the European spaceport here in French Guiana. We're hearing lots of clapping. Our Amazon Leo satellites, a very, very important collaboration and partnership between Arianespace, Amazon Leo, all of the teams. And of course, although the teams here have been working very hard, we now best wishes to the teams who are flying the satellites. Let's go over now back into the fishbowl to David Caballoles, the CEO of Arianespace. David, what a fantastic launch.
What a day. What a day, what a launch. This is a milestone. This is a game changer for us. Today we have demonstrated that Ariane 6 is ready to deliver any mission, even the most complex. So my first thought today go to our client, Amazon. You know, the story between Arianespace and Amazon began 7 years ago, and here we are. So thank you for your trust. We are now more impatient than ever to deliver the 17 remaining missions for you. So today, this is my pleasure to announce that the next Ariane 6 flight will be for Amazon, and in the coming weeks, we will release the exact date. Today, I also would like to thank and congratulate all the team involved, Arianespace, Ariane Group, the industrial partner, the CNES, ESA, all the stakeholders. Once again, you demonstrated that hard work, dedication, team spirit lead to outstanding results. Last but not least, tomorrow our compatriot Sophie Adno, as well as other astronauts, are flying to the ISS. So Sophie and team, we wish you the very best. Thank you very much.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and best wishes now to everybody. Congratulations. And yes, absolutely, we wish Sophie the very best and her colleagues on their way to the